Paul Bettany is set to return as the Vision in an upcoming MCU production. Unfortunately, it is not an Avengers movie. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member. All right down to it. We are talking today about Disney Plus, which we have learned has cost Disney a ton of money. I reported on this in a previous video. I reported on this previously in a previous video. I don't know what that means. Anyway, it seems that Paul Bettany is returning to the role of Vision, or the Vision, whatever you want to call him. And he played that part really well. I really liked his adaptation of the part. He kind of portrayed him more like Data with emotions and good control over his emotions. And of course, they got the romantic relationship between him and Wanda very well, even in WandaVision, which I like WandaVision overall as a show. I just didn't care for the ending of it, but I did think it was good. I thought it got a little bit overhated as it went forward, but I still thought it was a decent show. As for Paul Bettany, if you ever have a chance, you should read how he got the part for Vision, because remember, he was the voice of Jarvis, and then Jarvis kind of merged with a bunch of machinations to form the Vision. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that Paul Bettany has done a really good job with the role. Now, unfortunately, he's not returning for an Avengers movie. Now, he might at some point, they might make that announcement, but the current announcement is that he is returning for a Disney Plus television show. This is according to Bleeding Fool, not that other random website. This is bleedingfool.com. Disney Plus is set to resurrect the Vision in a new series for 2026. Paul Bettany will reprise his role as the synthezoid Avenger who appeared in 3 Marvel films and WandaVision. Star Trek Picard executive producer Terry Matalas has been tapped to serve as showrunner on the new series. Details of the new series have not been revealed, but as previously reported by Deadline, the Vision series has been in development at Disney Plus since 2022. At the time, it was reported the series would would center on the Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity. While the focus is on the Vision, there is reportedly the possibility of Wanda Maximoff to appear. Of course, Wanda Maximoff is played by Elizabeth Olsen, which would make sense given how interconnected the two character stories are and how they are romantically linked, and she is still alive. So it seems to me this is a little bit of a miscommunication, because I'm not saying this of Bleeding Fool, I'm saying this of Disney miscommunicating to people, because what I had understood was Kevin Feige had said that Wanda had died at the end of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, they are doing so much finagling right now. They are gaslighting fans in regards to the events of Secret Invasion. They're trying to say that Rhodey has been an alien since Captain America Civil War or right after, which doesn't make sense because those aliens bleed green, and Rhodey is seen in several movies. His blood is red. So that's preposterous. Now, as for WandaVision, like I said, for those of you who haven't seen the show, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but after Vision died, Wanda sees his body and she uses her powers to take over an entire town, and that is her transition to villain. And of course, there's weirdos on social media who are trying to say she was a victim. She wasn't a victim of anything but grief, and she victimized a whole freaking town. She should have been arrested. She should have been put in jail, but instead she transitions into becoming a villain for Multiverse of Madness and whatnot. And Vision got rebuilt, and it's his albino form, so he's solid white. And he flies off at the end of WandaVision, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of his memories. He kind of regains a few. So I'm curious how they would leap off of that, and if Wanda is in fact still alive. Like I said, Disney likes to gaslight fans. What's interesting is they want to retcon a lot of stuff that was pre-Disney. Because remember, a lot of people don't recall this, but before Kevin Feige took over the reins for Disney, take over the reins of Marvel Studios to be specific, Paramount was actually in charge of the MCU, and it was actually 4 guys who were handling it, and they were doing a good job. And up until Ant-Man is really when you saw Disney kind of start to put their claws in it. And I say claws because since they have fully taken over and Kevin Feige has, fired a whole bunch of people who were transitioned from Paramount, it seems that they have gotten worse. Now, with this show, if it really has been in development since 2022, I guess that would mean that all those dumb Hollywood union strikes are what caused it to get delayed. So I'm wondering where it's going to fit in this new timeline, because the new timeline is all over the place, especially with revealed secrets from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and with Secret Invasion. I'm curious how all of these facets are going to come together for that. And how will this affect Daredevil Born Again, possibly an Echo season 2, a She-Hulk season 2, although a second season of She-Hulk was confirmed, but it seems to be in limbo because the actress who portrayed She-Hulk, she went on this tirade at the picket line. It was so stupid. I don't know what these actors think when they do stuff like this, but this tells me two things. One, Disney is getting desperate because a lot of their big actors, their contracts are up. So Chris Evans, that's why he hasn't reappeared. Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth is already around, but they've let Taika Waititi destroy the Thor brand with the fourth Thor movie. So it doesn't make sense to me that they would try to pull in Paul Bettany for this. Now, that's not to say Paul Bettany isn't an accomplished actor, but I'm just saying in the grand scheme of their big guns, you know, that's left, why just put one bullet in the holster? This is what I've been saying all along, that they're desperate and they just need fans to come back. But the problem isn't that we want Paul Bettany back. The problem is we're tired of these crappy writers and directors ruining the MCU. So unless this is going to be some sort of soft reboot or whatever, I don't know what's going to happen. Now, the second thing that it tells me is, well, I kind of touched on it in point one, is that they want to, like I said, Disney Plus is getting desperate, but also they want to try to lure the fans back with this. It's Overlord DVD calls them member berries. They're trying to get you to remember how great the MCU was with Paul Bettany as the Vision. And like I said, he's an accomplished actor. He played the Vision very well, but I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think that sort of, hey kid, want to see what I got in my van, is going to work. What the mistake that they made, and I know they did this because they had all these actors tied up in contracts, but what they should have done following Age of Ultron, and certainly following Captain America Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame, what they should have done is just focused on Avengers movies, and that way you can have these actors. But the problem is they don't want to do that because Iron Man had such name recognition, Spider-Man, but they should have just created an Avengers film franchise and maybe occasionally do a spin-off. And obviously Guardians of the Galaxy is really far removed, but that would have been an easier transition into things like the X-Men, for example. But they don't want to listen to guys like me. They want to listen to Kevin Feige, who thinks he knows everything, but he's so far out of touch with the fan base, he can't seem to get it right. If it seems to me that anytime Kevin Feige is away from a project, that's when it does really well. And they need to let the big guns come back. They need to bring back Jon Favreau, let him lead it. Of course, he's busy with Star Wars right now, although his time there might be getting soft. He might be getting tired of what's going on there. And quite frankly, I don't blame him. I mean, how many times can you fire Kathleen Kennedy? Apparently none. But anyway, that's kind of my take on it. I do hope that if they decide to do a show based around Vision, they do make it a little bit more serious, a little less wacky, and that it becomes like a very solid series that the fans can enjoy, that Paul Bettany gets a chance to branch out a little bit, and maybe we can retcon some of the retcons that Disney is making in the meantime. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like. Give it a share, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications, and also consider becoming a channel member where you get all kinds of cool perks. I'm also going to be doing more live streams. I'm going to do some member exclusive stuff. Now, if you don't want to support me on Big Tech, no worries. If you're watching on Rumble or Odyssey, head down to my locals. The link is in the description. You can support me there. It's kind of like a Patreon or a Subscribestar. You can join there. Of course, you can also join for free, but I highly recommend you join so that way smaller creators like me, we can't do anything without you. That's how we work. I won't be like Marvel or DC. I appreciate everyone who watches. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a